you gotta get dirty. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting dirty.
Say, what is your name, boy?
Django.
How'd you like the bounty hunting business?
Kill white folks and they pay you for it. It's not the light. I like the way you die, boy.
Gentlemen, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Alright, so I'm back from watching Django Unchained. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this now because I feel like I really need to just go ahead and get this little factoid out of the way before we continue on any further with this review. I just really want to go ahead and say it because it's just better to go ahead and get this out of the way now than bring it up later. And I really want to talk about something other than this problem with the movie, which is the one thing the entire internet and the media and everybody I seem to talk to seems to be caught up on, which even I myself fell victim to this, and allowing it to myself to be caught into it. We're going to talk about the word nigger. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say I was really apprehensive of going into this movie just because of all the things I've heard from various critics, various friends, people I've spoken to about the movie. Now, I made a conscious, I made a very conscious act to count how many times I heard the word nigger used in this movie. And I must say, I mean, I did get up to go use the bathroom, take a little quick 2-3 minute bathroom break, but I did actually count on my hand, and even made tally marks. I counted 100 uses of the word nigger. Now that, with that being said, do I feel like it was unnecessary at times? The word usage, and yes, I did find it that way, and yes, this is not necessarily a historical recounting of slavery, and the times of slavery, because it's actually kind of more of a spaghetti western. But at the same time, I didn't feel like there was any malicious intent with the usage. I mean, of course, yes, there was malicious intent, I mean, from certain characters, but there were also times where characters that were supposed to be the most vile and depraved people, sometimes at points when you think they would say it, or even some characters that they kind of throw into the story from time to time, who are vile human beings and do not like black people, sometimes it kind of catches you off guard that they don't really say it. I mean, it kind of comes up casually a lot of times. I mean, heck, some of the biggest offenders of using the word are actually Samuel L. Jackson and Jamie Foxx's characters. They're the biggest offenders of this. Now, that's me saying that I'm okay with this in the movie, this isn't, once again, let me just go ahead and say now, just so we can get out of the way, this is not necessarily an invitation for my white friends to come to me and quote this movie verbatim to me with that word involved and think that, oh, it's okay, I can say it because it was in the movie and I'm just quoting the movie. No, you will get your ass beat. Now that that's out of the way, let's review the movie. So, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. I mean, Dr. King Schultz, played by Christoph Waltz, is a German dentist who, for reasons they don't really go into, is a bounty hunter now. I mean, maybe if they do go into it, it's kind of glossed over, but he comes across Django, played by Jamie Foxx, who is a slave, and he tracks down Django because he needs information about his current bounty that he's going after, which are a group of guys called the Brittle Brothers. And Django is the only person he is fully aware of who has actually seen the Brittle Brothers. And the Brittle Brothers kind of tie into Jamie Foxx's character's story because they are pretty much the reason why he is, at this particular point in time, in the trouble that he's in and being shipped off to wherever it was they were sending him to. So Django has a stake in this, and Christoph Waltz's character, Dr. King Schultz, basically is like, hey, look, you help me out with this, and I'm gonna hook you up with your freedom. And Django's like, I don't really know what to make of all this. I mean, this is all kind of out of the blue, but, yeah, hey, fuck it, let's go with it. As they go along with the story, Dr. Schultz comes to find that Django actually has a really strong knack for bounty hunting. He's got kind of a killer instinct, and of course, being a slave, he actually doesn't mind killing white people, which are actually what all of Schultz's bounties tend to be, are white people. Awesome, right? I guess. I mean, for him anyway. Now that going, they have some character development, and basically, long story short, he decides, hey, look, you obviously have something, a quest that you need to embark on. You need to find your lost love, and I'm gonna help you go into the heart of Mississippi, fucking Chickasaw, Mississippi, which I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Chickasaw lately, but it's, even in free times, in modern times, I don't really care to go to fucking Chickasaw County, Mississippi, to rescue anybody. So, so I mean, and that's actually where the story goes. That's literally the first hour of the movie, if even that. That's literally, I mean, that's the whole entire first act of the movie, really. So, now that we've gotten that far, let's go into the actors here. I mean, we have a pretty, I mean, as you would expect from a Quentin Tarantino movie, you have a very strong cast. I mean, a very well acted cast for the most part. I mean, earlier in the year, some of the movies I saw, like Avengers and Killer Joe, which were movies that had ensemble casts that had some of the most amazing chemistry I had seen in years. Quentin Tarantino, he pulls it off yet again, whereas with Inglourious Bastards, I kind of felt like, nah, brother, you screwed the pooch on this one. But he really came correct on this movie. Getting the cast together that is placed in this film, and basically getting a group of people who work really well together. Let's talk about who we have up first. Jamie Foxx, obviously, as the title character Django. And you also have Dr. King Schultz, played by Christoph Waltz, who, if any of you remember, played Colonel Hans Landa, the Jew hunter from Inglourious Bastards, which anyone who knows me or has spoken to me about Inglourious Bastards know he was the only thing about the movie I actually liked, aside from, well, no, that was it. That was really it. So, but these guys have a really good, strong chemistry. Dr. King Schultz is, for the most part, I mean, he's played to be he's supposed to be the serious guy. He's supposed to be the well-groomed, very well-mannered, kind of, he's almost a Southern gentleman, but he's not a Southern gentleman. I mean, it's just kind of like in the way he carries himself, though, he's kind of a Southern gentleman. But he's played to be more of the comic relief, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Just it sometimes seems like the things he says are, on the whole, kind of the funny business of the movie. Whereas Jamie Foxx, he does say some very funny things at times, and his dialogue is very well played, but he's almost kind of the straight man, and I'm perfectly okay with that, because even though Fox is playing Django as more of a one-note character, I think that's the point. I mean, he's the one-liners guy. He's the guy who comes in. I mean, obviously, he has that one line, "I love the way you die, boy." I mean, it was, that's his character. That's what he does. He is the titular character. He's kind of allowed to do that. And, I mean, it's played to great effect. Jamie Foxx is an amazing actor, but I gotta admit, Christoph Waltz stole this movie from from Jamie Foxx. Christoph Waltz comes in as Dr. King Schultz, and I'm sorry, this man is amazing. I don't know what it is about Christoph Waltz, but when you get him in a role, he just delivers big time. And I mean, almost every scene, it's like you can tell he is having so much fun playing his character. Like I usually don't do this. I usually don't really watch a lot of behind the scenes with a lot of movies because I honestly just don't really ever care to. But there's some movies where something's going on, or there's a certain actor, and I just really want to know what the heck they were thinking when they were playing this role. And this is one of those movies that I could honestly see myself watching the behind the scenes and be like, man, I really would like to see how Christoph Waltz was just on the set after every take, because this man is chewing up the scenery. And another guy in this movie who I also feel stole the movie from Jamie Foxx is Leonardo DiCaprio. And Leo really, really delivers in his own right as a slave owner, Calvin Candy, who I actually liked the way that they worked his character in, because he's not the prototypical slave owner. It's not like he uses them for work or labor. He uses them as for mandingo fights. I mean, yeah, he does use them as servants, but I mean, that's not his thing. He's like, yeah, I got a few slaves, kind of work the fields, and, all that other good shit. But these slaves I have in particular, I use these guys to fight. And I really like the way he's played. I mean, you could tell Leonardo DiCaprio as well is having so much fun playing this role. I mean, he is playing the mustache-twirling villain, but he's also playing it serious as well. And I really love how he just comes in, delivers his lines. He's working great screen chemistry with Christoph Waltz and Jamie Foxx. The man, I'm kind of sad for him, because Leonardo DiCaprio falls in that category of actors that I feel like deserves an Oscar for the hard work and great acting they have put into just about every role they've ever played. And I really feel like, as great as these two actors are, Christoph Waltz and Leonardo DiCaprio, these guys are going to get largely overlooked, because not just because of the fact that this is more of a spaghetti western style movie and not really all that serious, but just because of the fact it's a Quentin Tarantino film, and it's also kind of a genre film as well at the same time, and kind of an exploitation style. And those movies usually get incredibly overlooked. So it makes me really sad to see these two men pouring their heart and souls into this movie, and they're probably not going to get anything back in return. But that being said, you already know you can expect hard work and just great scenes from these guys. They carry this movie through parts that I feel would otherwise be kind of boring to watch. Now, with our three main lead characters out of the way, let's go ahead and switch over to some of the other characters and the actors that play them. Let's talk about Kerry Washington, who plays Broomhilda, who is the love interest of Django. Kerry Washington is a good actress. I've liked her in pretty much everything I've ever seen her in. I mean, she's very, very good at what she does. But the thing is, she doesn't really have a lot to do in this movie. I mean, she's really just there as an objective, and is only necessary due to story purposes, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it makes her dead weight, but it makes her a necessary dead weight. I mean, honestly, you could have put anybody in that role, and which is why I think, since Kerry Washington isn't necessarily like a top list actress, I mean, granted, she's, not bottomless by any stretch of the imagination, but I think this is why you didn't see somebody of a higher name value, like a Halle Berry, or somebody from a Tyler Perry movie. I don't know. I just know that character could have been anybody. They could have hired somebody off the street. I mean, all she had to do was look cute. And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that it is what it is. I want to go... The rest of these actors aren't necessarily even in the movie for any stretch of time. They're really more bit parts. But, man, one that made me really sad, and anyone who knows me well knows I am a huge, huge, huge fan of The Shield. Love that series. Love everything about it. It's one of those few shows that I can go back and watch repeatedly, and I probably will for the rest of my days, at least once a year, go back and watch that entire series. But they have Walton Goggins in this movie, playing Billy Crash, one of the underlings of Calvin Candy, and he is sorely underused. I mean, just ridiculously underused. It made me so sad, because Walton Goggins, I mean, you know this guy from The Shield, you know him from Justified. He usually plays unlikable characters, and I really think if they would have maybe put him in more scenes with Candy, that would have actually, maybe helped out a little bit. But I mean, granted, Calvin Candy, Leonardo DiCaprio is enough of villain for this movie that you really didn't need anybody else. It probably would have just been like a second banana act if they really would have played up Walton Goggins' character anymore. Which also leads me to another character in the movie who is in a villainous role, but kind of a bit part, though he gets a little bit more screen time than Walton Goggins, is Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson plays the role of Steven, who is literally the prototypical house Negro. I mean, he's ornery, he's crotchety, he loves massa to death, and he's kind of a cartoon character. I mean, he literally looks like Uncle Ben. I mean, they have so much makeup on Samuel Jackson. He just looks like the prototypical house Negro. I mean, it was kind of, at first it was funny, it got a little awkward at points, but I mean, I get it. I totally get it. Samuel Jackson, he did what he was supposed to do. He came in and he owned that role. I really liked him in it, and I even liked how they kind of give you a side edge to Samuel L. Jackson's character that lets you know he's not exactly what you think he is. Him and Leonardo DiCaprio together really, really own a couple of scenes in this movie, and kind of made me wonder, like, man, I kind of wish they would have played up Samuel Jackson's character a little bit more, maybe a little bit earlier on. But, I mean, I totally understand why he comes in as late as he does. Now, I want to get away from that, because if I keep on going about Samuel L. Jackson, I'm just going to start talking more about how he's kind of cartoony, and he's literally, the only thing missing from him is the twirling mustache and the nyah. I mean, that's really what's missing from him as a character. But going from that, Quentin Tarantino has his obligatory cameo, and it's kind of unnecessary. He's playing a character, and I don't know if this is on purpose or not, or if this is just him really trying hard, but he's playing some Australian guy, and he has the worst Australian accent I've ever heard, and it was just, man, it was, this is also going to come up at a point that I feel like is going to come up when I get to the pacing part of it, but we'll come back to that later. We also have James Remar in the movie, who plays two different characters, and I just wanted to point that out, because at first I was like, hey, didn't I see James Remar at the beginning of this movie? Oh, wait a minute, there he is again playing a completely different character? Whatever, dude, I hope he got 2 paychecks. I mean, I like James Remar. I actually kind of hate he's not in more stuff or a bigger actor than what he is, but that's besides the point. Jonah Hill has a 5-minute part in this movie. He's kind of also another unnecessary character, and he's somehow fat again, but whatever. But he's actually funny in the part that he is in, so good. Don Johnson, also another cameo role in this. He plays a slave owner by the name of Big Daddy, who is in the same I think he gets 5 more minutes than Jonah Hill got. Though I actually liked his character. I kind of would have liked to see a little bit more of him, but once again, I think they did very good with the less is more approach with him, as opposed to a couple of other characters they have in the movie. Another quick nod is to Franco Nero, who, I don't know if you guys are Western buffs or not, but is the original Django. From back in the day. He comes in, has a very small part, and I like that they kind of had him in there, but I did not like the way they give you the wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the audience. It's actually in the trailer, the part where he's being asked by a character who you don't see at the time in the trailer, how do you spell the name? He's like, oh, DJANGO, the D is silent. And in that part, they kind of have this look at each other, and it's like, wait a minute, we're wink, wink, nudge, nudge. See, that's Franco Nero. That's Franco Nero. You get that? You see that? We did something smart. That's yet another small grievance I have with the movie. Moving on from that, I kind of want to talk about the score / soundtrack / whatever the heck it is. It's a mixed bag for me. At times, it's phenomenal. Other times, I feel like it's very oddly paced and very oddly placed. And it kind of seems like it can. Sometimes it's either they pick a song choice or an arrangement choice that's very poor on their part, or it seems like it's really forced, or both. I mean, I don't know. Case in point, there's a part in the movie, and I think they even use a song for one of the trailers. It's a Rick Ross song. Don't ask me which one it is, because I don't listen to Rick Ross. I just know enough about Rick Ross that I recognize him and that it is his song. Whatever. There are even a few other points. Like, I want to say I thought I heard a Tupac song somewhere in one of, like, the final action scenes towards the end. Another odd instance, and this is one that actually kind of took me out of the movie for a few minutes, and actually the only thing that brought me back in was the scene with Jonah Hill and Don Johnson, was there's a part where they use Requiem, which I don't know if you guys know is the main theme from the Japanese film Battle Royale, which I think we all know by now Quentin Tarantino is a huge fan of. I remember he was one of the ones that was campaigning to get the movie released over here on DVD when it was originally done, and bullied at him for that, because, I mean, that means more people got to see it, and somebody else got to rip it off. But we won't talk about the Hunger Games right now. We're talking about Django. And, I mean, it just, I don't know, considering the subject matter of the movie that they're pulling that score from, and the scenes that it's used in, it kind of just felt really out of place. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Other than that, I didn't really have much of a problem with the score or the soundtrack or whatever the heck we're going to call it, because there were quite a few songs that while I was in theater, I was kind of pulling my phone out, something I don't typically do in a movie theater. I am the hugest guy when it comes to getting mad at people for pulling their phones out. Like, but I would kind of pull out my phone, tap that SoundHound app, and try to see if I can figure out, man, what's this song they're playing? This is kind of tight. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks like mixed bag. Not good, not bad, just a little bit of both. One other thing I want to talk about is the action. Action I thought was really good, and probably the strongest part of the movie. It's kind of reminiscent of how awesome I felt the action scenes in the first Kill Bill Volume 1. It kind of reminded me of that, like that type of edge, that type of just showmanship that Quentin Tarantino had, as far as the way he filmed everything, as far as the way the scenes were directed, the way they used the fake gallons of blood to great effect. I mean, it was cartoonish and over the top, but that was the point of the movie that I feel like they were trying to convey, and they really weren't trying to hide that that's what that was. I mean, there was one particular scene that it didn't bother me, but they kind of... And I don't want to call it like the torture porn scene, because it really wasn't. But there was one particular scene where, you know, a slave is being savaged. And it was just like, man, dude, I don't know. That's a little harsh. But I get the context. But at the same time, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I quite would have went there. But you know what? Whatever. Let's just keep the movie rolling. Now, going from that, let's talk about the dialogue, because I feel like the dialogue was actually very, very, very strong in this movie. Once again, I mean, aside from what we talked about at the very beginning about, you know, the N-bomb, really, the N-bomb is the only real problem I have with the dialogue. And for the most part, I can let that slide, because... like I said, once again, it wasn't used maliciously. And the dialogue, even when they're not using that word, and sometimes even when they are, it's still really good dialogue. Like, there were times I caught myself snickering and giggling when they used it. Does it make it okay? No. But that they use that word sometimes in that context, but I mean, still, the dialogue was great, and I'm not going to take away from it just because they used a word I don't like, that I find morally offensive. I mean, heck, let's go and get this out of the way. For people that think that I feel that way only because I'm black, I would honestly feel that way if they use the word faggot 100 times in a movie. In a movie about gay oppression that's told on the backdrop of a spaghetti western. So, I mean, it's not that. It's just the fact that I find those are kind of my magic words that I don't like to hear. So, now that that's out of the way, we talked about the dialogue, we talked about the action, we talked about the incredible acting in this movie. I want to talk about the pacing, because this is where I'm going to give yet another grievance on this movie, something that kind of took a strike at it. The movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long. Now, I don't know if this is a trend or something that's starting to crop up in Hollywood, but they have quite a few movies out right now, and that have been released this year that are really long. Like, I saw, not too terribly long ago, I saw a 2 hour, a 2.5 hour comedy. That is unheard of. There is no need for you to have a 2.5 hour comedy. And then you got Les Mis, which I haven't seen yet, but to my knowledge, is about a 2 hour and 45 minute to 3 hour movie. The Hobbit, which I saw twice, is, yet again, another movie in that same time frame. And it's not a bad thing. I enjoyed the ones I've seen, but it was one of those things I did catch. I wasn't watching the clock as I was watching the movie. I wasn't looking at my watch or, pull my phone and I'm like, all right, man, how much fucking longer we got? I mean, it's just there were a couple of times where I caught myself saying, man, I wonder what would happen if they would just, shave a few minutes off here and there. And then I would think, well, what would I shave off? I mean, it was pretty much all good material, but there was that one point where, I would like the scene with Quentin Tarantino towards the end. I was like, well, man, I probably would have shaved a little bit off of that, but they still kind of need that scene there. But if anything, I just would have removed his character, because it was just not necessary. But all that being said, I did enjoy my time with the movie. I walked into this movie incredibly apprehensive, incredibly ready to hate this movie. And, I mean, I walked out of it feeling pretty good. I mean, in the very beginning, it warmed me up and made me lower my defenses. And as I went through the movie, I was like, you know what, this is a good movie. This is a great film. Do I think it's the movie of the year, like everybody's talking it up to be and thinking this is the number one movie of 2012? No. Do I think it's one of the better Quentin Tarantino movies that we've had in years? Yeah, I would probably say this is the best film he's put out since Jackie Brown. I mean, I would even put it above the Kill Bill movies, which I thought were great as a duology. Is that what we would call it? But at that same point, I felt like Kill Bill Volume 2 was kind of shit. Especially when you compare it to Kill Bill Volume 1. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to judge those. But I think this is actually a return to form for Quentin Tarantino. And he's talking about doing this whole alternate history vibe with his, what he did with Inglourious Basterds and then coming to Django Unchained. He's talking about doing another movie that might kind of tie up into those two films, but at the same time not, but be kind of a part of that, like, I guess maybe some kind of way to make some weird box set that we can all buy later. And once again, at the end of the day, despite the fact that I had issues with the pacing, which may be accredited to the fact that Quentin Tarantino lost his longtime editor. Sally Minka, I believe her name was. She died, and I want to say it was earlier this year, I believe. I like I said, I hate talking about stuff like this because, I mean, obviously it's a sad thing, but you just like how some corporate businessmen have yes men, I feel like directors should have no men, or women as the case may be. And, I mean, guys like Tim Burton, George Lucas, people who say, hey, look, that's a dumb idea. And in this movie, I feel like maybe a couple of no's would have went a long way to really pushing this film up to an upper echelon. I actually really fought with myself driving home, thinking, "Man, what do I give this movie? How do I rate this movie on a scale?" And I was thinking, is this a movie I would buy on Blu-ray? And I thought, maybe. But maybe not, because there's some Quentin Tarantino movies I don't own, especially on Blu-ray. And then I started thinking, but at the same time, I also feel that it's definitely worth seeing, in the theater, most definitely. I mean, I don't hate the movie, I love the movie. So I was kind of wrestling with it, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go with my gut and say that I feel that Django Unchained is a must-see on the big screen. And maybe a purchase on Blu-ray later, I don't know. But no, I really do feel like it is a must-see in the movie theater. So yeah, definitely, guys, go out. I recommend this movie. And if you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino, then you're already planning to go see this anyway. You're not waiting to hear what I'm going to say. So get out there, go see the damn movie, and keep up with your realist. Thank you for listening to my first audio review, which is for Django Unchained, and stick around because there's plenty more to come. Thank you, guys. Good night.
In my world, you gotta get dirty. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting dirty.
What's your name?
Django. D-J-A-N-G-O. The D is silent.
Adult supervision is required.